On the sidelines of the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, I spoke with the Secretary General of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue, Mr. Nasser Al Motairi. We spoke about his vision for the ACD, its strengths and weaknesses, and ultimately how it can be a force for change in the Asian continent. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us today here at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum. You are the Secretary General of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue. Can you start just by giving us an understanding of exactly what ACD is? I understand it attempts to foster dialogue, connectivity in the Asian continent. What does that mean?
Well, ACD is an intergovernmental forum established in 2002 in Thailand with the aim of enhancing cooperation among member states in all fields, to meet global challenges, to achieve sustainable development and regional integration through two dimensions, dialogue and joint projects. Of course, there are many objectives of the ACD. One of them is maintaining regular dialogue to build more trust and mutual understanding among member states. Also to achieve regional integration through implementing the vision of Asia, which is based on 6 pillars of cooperation: connectivity, STI, science, technology and innovation, cultural and tourism, education and human resource development, energy, food, water security and sustainable development.
So in theory, I completely understand what you mean. That sounds like a great aim. I wonder, when you talk about, rising to global challenges, how is it difficult to do that, given that so many of the member states have different foreign policies, or at least foreign policies that are not necessarily, they're not the same?
Yes.
How do you do that?
Well, actually, we have a lot of challenges. One of them is the political system diversity.
Sure.
Yes, so which lead to differences in priorities, interests, policies, strategies, and we have also geopolitical tension, which sometimes hinder full cooperation. Beside, economic disparities and institutional overlapping, and also environmental challenges. But despite that, when we talk about Gaza, for example, we have also another challenge, which is that the decision decision mechanism in ACD based on consensus. So sometimes it's very hard to reach a consensus, because some countries, they have different policies regarding Gaza. For example, some countries support the Palestinian positions, while others, maybe they have neutral foreign policy. But although with that, ACD can provide a platform for cooperation to discuss this issue, how to end war in Gaza, for example. They can provide humanitarian assistance and support peace initiatives, or any humanitarian aid, as I said.
Can I ask, has there been any sort of fruitful discussion on Gaza, how the ACD might play a role in ending the war at all?
No, actually, we don't have that before, but we are ready to organize, or to host a platform for that. Before, in 2000, last year, the Iranian declaration has a paragraph about Gaza and that we should stop,
the atrocities.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for being so open. I really applaud you for telling us about the differences that you have. So tell me more about the similarities that these countries have, because what is so unique about ACD is it's the Asian continent. There are so many different, as you've just alluded to, there's different religions, there's different foreign policies, different languages. What brings these countries together?
Well, I think there are many reasons, but the 3 main reasons, in my opinion. First, to meet or to address these challenges, we should have cooperation among member states, because individual countries cannot overcome alone. A collective effort is needed. This is number one. Number two, I think it's very important, if we want to to achieve sustainable development, economic growth, and regional integration, we need to implement ACD vision. So this is the second reason. The third reason, I think, which is very important, is that to promote the idea of one Asia, able to play an important role on the international stages. You know, Asia possesses huge potential. It's a hub, it's an economic hub, hosting major banks, institutional financial institutions, and it is one of the largest exporters. Also, Asia is a hub for maritime transportation, and it's also, you know, rich in heritage and natural resources like oil, minerals, and natural gas. So, with benefiting or leveraging from these potential and optimizing the workforce and also by applying advanced technology, I believe that Asia can play an important role on the international stage.
Can I ask you, sir, you've obviously been here at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum listening to the various panels that have been happening, right?
Yeah.
And one of the panels that we just saw this morning was about multilateralism in the global south. So do you see organizations like ACD as almost a medium to help get voices of the global south heard?
Well, I attend many sessions. I think, you know, the title is very important, reclaiming, you know, diplomacy in a fragment.
The theme of this summit, yeah.
From ACD perspective, we believe that there are three important pillars can shape the modern diplomacy. And most of them, they talk about it, but in ACD we focus on these three issues. Number one is we should have open, frank, regular, transparent dialogue.
You sure seem to embody that.
Yes, so we have to build more trust and mutual understanding, you know, and to avoid differences. Number two, I think it's the practical tool or instrument of diplomacy, let's say, is cooperation in different areas. It's very important to focus on, you know, mutual interest instead of differences. So, and number three, I think it's synergy is very important. It's very important also to cooperate with regional integration, regional organization, to meet global challenges. We have a lot of challenges. We cannot, beside what I mentioned about the ACD, we have, you know, poverty, we have climate change, we have natural disaster, we have a spread of infectious disease. We cannot do that without, you know, cooperation with regional organizations.
Yeah, so you talk about focusing on what we have in common rather than focusing on our differences.
Exactly.
And I saw that one of the core tenets, which you're talking about just now, of the ACD is really promoting tolerance and diversity respect.
Yes.
As a career diplomat, we were just talking off camera about how you have lived all over the world. You have a wealth of experience speaking with people from different cultures and different backgrounds. Do you see that tolerance is on the rise or on the decline?
Well, tolerance, I believe that tolerance doesn't arise automatically. I mean, it arises with dialogue and cultural exchange. Nowadays, we have good science about, you know, the importance and awareness about the importance of tolerance and mutual respect of culture respect. Despite sometimes we have some voices, you know, can make a little bit challenge. But in general, I think we have, I'm positive, you know, and one of our principles is to be positive thinking. And the Asia Cooperation Dialogue, working in that, we believe that, you know, cultural and linguistic diversity sometimes create misunderstanding and you know, communication barriers. But despite that, the ACD is promoting cooperation on education and cultural exchange, also promoting cooperation through movies, festivals, learning languages, tourism. And one of the two important pillars of ACD is education and human resource development, and also cultural and tourism. So ACD is working on that. I mean, it's very important to accept the culture of other country or other person. It's not accepted to impose your values or your culture in other people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, you have amazing aims. You guys have already done such important work over the course of the last 20 years. Can I ask you, in the course of the next 5 or 10 years, where do you hope to see the ACD?
Well, we have a lot of, first of all, we are willing to transform this forum into an organization. There is an initiative from Kuwait regarding this issue. To transform it into an organization is very important, because you will have fixed budget, you will have more commitment from members, and you will have similar cooperation. I mean, you will have cooperation with similar organizations. So this is one of the challenges that in our mind. And beside that, we are working on increasing the visibility of ACD. Yeah, so there are many options. I mean, many things that we want to do. But transforming ACD into an organization is very important. And I think, this is my opinion. I think, with all potential Asia has, they can play an important role. And if you see now the situation in the world, and the rising of tariffs and growing doubts about the future of globalization.
Yeah.
So ACD and other regional organizations can be alternative platforms for cooperation between nations. And instead of unpredictable global order.
Being a beacon of stability, if you will. Yeah. Mr. Secretary General, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Best of luck, and enjoy the rest of the Antalya Diplomacy Forum.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this.